Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to another session on the EMEA track for the 2024 PMO Leader Annual Conference. For those who haven't met me, I'm Jane Howland. I'm part of the organising team for this year. So just going to run through a couple of kind of housekeeping items before we hand over to Hamatal and Daniel, who are going to run through another really exciting presentation and hopefully a bit of time for Q&A after. So hopefully lots of you have had the chance to join sessions so far today, both on the EMEA track, on APAC earlier on, and also we've got sessions starting in the Americas already. But just a reminder, if you sign up to the PMO Leader, it's completely free. Once you're a member, you will be able to access and replay all of the sessions from earlier in the day and for the rest of today if you want to, and various other benefits of being in the PMO Leader network. Hopefully you will, again, have gone to other sessions, so you'll be fairly familiar with how the screen looks and how it works. We have got space to chat on the right-hand side. So feel free to kind of comment on there, tell us who you are, where you're from, any thoughts you have on the presentation as we go through. We also have a Q&A tab there, which time permitting, we will go through as much Q&A as we can at the end of this session. Obviously, if we don't have time to go through questions people have got, we will share them with Hamatal and Daniel afterwards and hopefully come back with some answers. But yeah, without further ado, I am going to hand over to Hamatal Weiss and Daniel Zitter from PM Zone, who are going to talk to us about gamification, future-proofing the PMO and lifelong learning journeys, which is going to be really exciting. So over to you. Welcome both.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jane, for the introductions. I'll start off by telling you a little bit about PM Zone. So PM Zone is a project management consulting firm, and we specialize in PMO setups, consulting for PMOs and PMs in organizations, and helping set up and bring to life educational efforts on project management topics in organization. So my name is Daniel Zitter. In the past 20 years, I've been working with PMs and PMOs in organizations around the world to help improve their project management skills. Now, one of the things that we meet when we work with PMOs is, PMOs have a lot of different things that they need to do in organizations. And one of the things that they always ask me in Hamatal, they tell us, guys, you're here, we want our project managers to have better skills, to know more about project management. Why don't you come in and give a course? And after you give the course, we'll know everything that we need to do, we need to know. And what we try, and we're going to try and explain during this session today, is what you really need to do in order to get people set up and know how to do things. So Hamatal, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, really briefly. My name is very happy to be here. First of all, excited. I'm a project manager, a lecturer, an IT professional, and in recent years also a gamification enthusiast. I'm also Danielle's partner at PM Zone. And today, let's see, okay, that's us. We should have been here. Today we're going to talk about a topic that's really, really important to all of us, how we move from simply knowing things to truly becoming competent, and how the PMO can play a significant role in fostering lifelong learning and in creating a dynamic hub for learning and development across the organization. Danielle?
So, there's a journey here. So we all spend time reading books, going to classes, like we're doing now, watching webinars. But how do we really turn all of this information into practical skills and real competence? That's the real question that we have. And think about it like this. Knowledge is the foundation. You build skills by putting that knowledge into action. And then true competence comes when you combine those skills and knowledge to get real results in the world. This journey is ongoing and is more important than ever as we strive to stay ahead of today's fast-paced environment. Now, imagine this. Imagine you put together, you want to teach people how to do something called, let's say, a mapping day. And a mapping day is an acronym for Make a Plan Day. This is something we've done many times in different Intel corporations around the world. And when you want to do that, you start out by learning about what a mapping day is. So you can read an article, you can watch a webinar, but then you have to put that into practice. So you have to take all that knowledge and turn it into a skill where you break down things and how you're going to technically meet people and summarize things and put all the things you need for the mapping day. And after you do that once or twice, that's when you're really competent in it. That's when you've learned from things that you've done, and you actually know how to do this well, and you can lead your organization by using a really great tool for yourself. Kamutal, can you move to the next slide?
Yes, sorry.
Thanks. So when we start out a process of lifelong learning, like we're doing now, we need to start out by setting goals. Now, it doesn't matter if we're talking about our PMO and what we want to do as a PMO, we need to clearly understand, both for ourselves and for all of the people around us, the leaders and the people on our team, what we're actually trying to do. So we need to understand and set very clear goals on what does it mean? Why are we doing a process right now? Are we trying to incorporate better lessons learned into our organization? Do we want to do things better and faster? So we really need to be clear on what we're trying to achieve. And after we're clear about what we're trying to achieve and everybody agrees on this, the next thing is to build a roadmap. As I started saying before, it's not about going to a class and learning how to do something. That's never enough. I don't know any class or any webinar, it could be the greatest one in the world, that you go in on one side knowing nothing or knowing something about the subject, and then coming out knowing how to do it in the best way ever. So it's all about setting the goals, building a roadmap on how you want to do this, and then communicating it to everyone on your team and to your management on a kickoff meeting, where, well, it could be a meeting or a webinar or a video, and that's where you actually communicate to everyone the process that you're all going to go through. Can we tell? Next slide. This is difficult. That one has the slide and one has that.
Yes.
Anyway,
and I don't see anybody, so.
Yeah, that's a fun feature here. I don't know if everybody knows, but Kamutal can see her slides, so she can't see us. So anyway, fun stuff. We'll get through it. So there are different ways or different things around education. The first, when we talk about education, we have different elements there. Most of us, when we think about education, we think about formal education. So we think about a course that we're going through in the university, or a PMP certification, or any other certification that can have. Today you have the PMO, CC, and CP certification. So we think about something that's very formal. You go into a class, you have a certified trainer, you have a real curriculum there, what you're going to go through with very clear goals. Many times it's more theoretical. It talks about things in general, and that's, it's a really great start, something that we need to do, but it's only one step on the way. Another way of learning is with non-formal education, and that happens outside of the traditional educational system. It's structured and intentional, but it doesn't follow a formal curriculum, and it doesn't lead to any official certification. It includes workshops, vocalization training programs, community classes, and seminars. It emphasizes practical skills and personal development in a flexible learning environment. And then you have informal education, and This is unstructured learning, and it occurs through our daily activities. It doesn't follow any curriculum. It isn't delivered by certified teachers or trainers, and it doesn't result with any formal qualifications. We learn naturally as we pursue interests. We engage in conversations, we observe our surroundings, and consume media like books or online content. The last one is the one that is really the best way to learn in our opinion, and that's the on-the-job training. So not only do you need to formally learn things or informally, you need to go through these processes, but you can also learn on the job. And you could do this just by doing things, or you can do it in a more formal and structured way, things like buddy system. So in some organizations, the PMO set up, you get a new PMO in the organization, and they buddy him with or her with a more experienced project manager, and they can talk on a daily basis, a weekly basis, whatever they feel is beneficial for themselves, to talk about things that they're going through all the time. Another way of doing this is by with a mentoring process, where someone is doing his job and somebody else is mentoring him while he's doing this. Over to you, Hamutal.
Thank you, Daniel. So now that we've covered just a little bit of the basics of lifelong learning, let's explore the key building blocks to make a successful program. So we have a few building blocks that we're using, combining a full map that we'll show you at the end. So let's start with self-study and reflection. So staying up to date is key, of course. So subscribing to leading top industry publications helps us, of course, keep track of the latest trends. And offering access to online platforms like Coursera, Udemy, or LinkedIn Learning lets everyone pick up new skills that interest them. Encouraging the use of services like Kindle Unlimited or Audible gets us into reading or listening today to great content. Using tools like Confluence, SharePoint, or an internal wiki makes sharing knowledge within the team easy. And of course, having an LMS, a learning management system, with a library of courses means learning is just a click away. And at this point, I'd like to invite you to share more ideas that you know of, that you have experience with on the subject and the following items that I'm going to show. You can share them in the chat, and we'll summarize everything at the end of the session and publish it on LinkedIn for everyone to benefit from. Next up, we have group study.
Yeah, this is really exciting, Hamutal. Hamutal, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is a really exciting point here, guys. What we're trying to do is we're giving you some ideas on how you can do things as the PMO leaders, and we're going to ask you to add your ideas to things that we're talking about. Take from our ideas, add more in the chat here, so we can summarize all of that. And as Hamutal said, then we'll publish it on LinkedIn, with our combined knowledge and combined ideas. So we have more and more ideas on how we can do these different things and continuously learn in our organization.
Thank you, Daniel. So next up, we have group study and collaborative learning, things like joining hackathon or setting up our own internal challenges. These can all spark innovation and teamwork. Forming study groups where we discuss case studies or articles that we've read. This can really foster collaborative spirit. Partnering with universities or research institutions for joint projects or internship brings in really fresh ideas and perspectives. And this is something we actually do quite frequently. Whenever we're working on a new product or service, we collaborate with the academic world to conduct research and validate our ideas. it's a valuable partnership that we have that helps us really push the boundaries and develop innovative solutions. So this is something we really recommend doing. Moving forward.
The academic, I was going to say that it's really interesting because the academics really love this. So it's something that's very beneficial for us. Just imagine you as a PMO, you turn to a university around your area, you talk to them about, what you want to do, and you can gain access to their knowledge, and they can gain access to what you're actually doing in organizations, and they're really excited to do this. So we really encourage you guys to do that as we do.
Yes, absolutely. It's a mutual beneficial partnership. Next up, we have professional and fun meetups. These are also really super important, like attending industry conferences and getting involved in local events through platforms like meetup.com. This can really expand our professional circles. Of course, attend webinars hosted by industry leaders. This can offer new insight really without leaving our desks. And something that we really love to do is to hold open discussions like failure nights, let's call it, encourage us really to share challenges and the lessons we've learned. And this is something that we do periodically.
Yeah, I wanted to tell everyone about some experiences we had with that. So you have a night, I don't know if you know about this concept, but you have a night where people come up and they don't talk about their project success. Everybody loves to talk about their successes, but not everyone is willing to share their failures or F-ups, right? So we had this night where we presented. It was a lot of fun. We had beer with it. So it was, getting a lighter mood for everyone and making sure that you're in the right, kind of atmosphere, in a safe atmosphere. But people shared a lot of stories about things that really didn't go well. And the fact that you're hearing about this from different people, makes you feel maybe sometimes a little bit better about yourself and things that you're doing. But you can also actually learn a lot more from people that didn't succeed than from people that actually succeeded. So great concept, love it.
Right. Next up is probably our favorite one, is adding, of course, simulation and learning games. This really, really makes training so much more engaging and also helps the retention of knowledge. It's a known fact. Of course, simulations provide hands-on experience in a safe environment, and role-playing exercises allows us to practice real-world scenarios. So this is one of our expertise that we are really well known for in our local market. All our training courses are really enriched with various games and simulations to make learning much more effective and enjoyable. For inspiration on how to gamify training, I often use a really, really cool website. We don't have the time to share everything. We're really going through the basics, but we will share the links with you in the summary or in the chat later on. And of course, among our most famous workshops are special board game sessions based on serious games that we've developed. And let me share just a few examples with you. First, we have a really challenging project management simulation board game, which also comes in a digital version. This game is based on the classic approach of project management and provides an immersive experience that captures the essentials, principles, and typical challenges faced by a project manager. And whether you're a seasoned professional or a new to project management, it doesn't matter. This game offers a unique way to deepen your understanding of project management dynamics, make it really a great, great tool for training. We've also developed an agile board game designed to help teams grasp agile methodologies. This game introduces players to everything related to Agile, starting from the language, principles, roles, rituals, tools, and concepts behind Agile Scrum and Agile Kanban. And when we've developed these games, we've first looked for existing games and we really couldn't find any. So even though there aren't many project management serious games available, you can still find some really interesting ones if you, of course, look around. For example, we're exploring now another intriguing Agile board game, and also a game that focuses on learning how to work in a product development environment. And the last example I have for you today is a really, really small online scheduling game that's super fun to play. Unfortunately, since we don't have the time to show it live, we will share the link in the chat later on so you can try it on when you have a moment. And again, here,
yeah, it's called the PM game. Yeah, it's kind of the project management game, and it's really a lot of fun. Not a lot to it, but I find myself playing it on a regular basis, so it's really nice.
Yeah, it's called thatpmgame.com. You can find it, and we'll write it in the chat. And again, here is another chance to remind you that if you know of any other examples, games, please do share them with us. We'll compile all the suggestions and publish them for everyone to benefit from. So I'm rushing to the final map, but let's first have a quick look at field tours and expert meetings. Following your local PMI chapter is just one example that can provide great industry insights. Of course, inviting guest speakers to share their expertise enriches our knowledge. Organizing visits to partner companies or suppliers lets us see best practices in actions. There's nothing better than this. And hosting, of course, expert panels or discussions really lets us deep dive into topics that matter to us. And of course, as we've said before, attending trade shows and expos keeps us in the loop of the latest industry trend. And lastly, we have mentoring and work shadowing. These are two very powerful tools for growth. Setting up job shadowing really lets employees learn directly from others. Pairing experienced team members with those looking to grow encourages knowledge sharing. Adopting a buddy system, like Danielle said in the beginning, supports everyone as they face new challenges, and formal mentorship programs really provide structured guidance for career development. So by bringing all these elements into our lifelong learning program, we create a dynamic environment that boosts our skills and foster a culture of continuous improvement. And this brings me to the bigger picture. So really to wrap things up, let's look at the lifelong learning map, combining everything together. It shows how all the pieces really comes together to create a learning environment that's not only adaptive, but always involving, because we have the controlling loop and starting loop all over again. So it's not just, of course, an individual responsibility. Organizations play a critical role in supporting and reinforcing this process. And that's where the PMO comes in. By fostering this environment, we ensure that the organization is not only growing, but thriving in an ever-changing landscape. Danielle, you want to add a few words before we move on here?
Yeah, so in the last 6 years, I've been a judge on the PMO Global Alliance, yearly competition. And one thing that I've noticed is that I'm always really impressed by organizations that do many things around project management. So in some companies, they emphasize the fact that they have so and so amount of project managers that have these certifications, and they're really proud of that. And that's the most important thing that they want to talk about. But other organizations talk about monthly meetings that they have with their teams and things that they do. And then I saw several, it was in several different years, we had companies that had competition where they came in once a year and they played as teams. It was a simulation that they put together for themselves, and they competed with one another. So those companies that really foster the fun part of it and make learning something that's more engaging and something that's continuous, not just, I got a certification, which is, it's good. I mean, it's something that you need to do, but it's not the final outcome. It doesn't bring you necessarily to where you want to go. So if you look at this map, and you don't have to do everything. We're not saying that a PMO has to set up everything in each organization. No, but you have here many different ideas. First of all, for the process. And the next thing is for the different things that you could do in your organization. Choose the things that work for you guys, dependent obviously on your goals that you want to achieve, and utilize that, implement that in your organization, and you'll see that you will all grow in the project management field.
Thank you, Dennis. So before we finish, we'd love to invite you to try our online simulation game. If you're interested, just send us an email in the next few days. This offer is valid until mid-November, and we'll set you up so that you can experience it firsthand. So thanks so much for your attention today. I hope this gave you some food for thought about how we can all embrace lifelong learning. And we'd love to hear your questions and thoughts in the few minutes that we have left.
Thanks very much, Hamatala, Daniel. That was really, really fascinating. Lots of food for thought there, and lots of interesting ideas around learning. We actually only have a couple of minutes left, so I am just having a look. We actually don't have any questions in the moment in the Q&A section. And there is a comment in the chat from Saeed. Where do we categorize AI as a source of knowledge here? Which I think came up on your screen where you were showing kind of the game board.
Do you want me to take it, Kuntal?
Yeah, sure.
So AI is a tool for us to use, I think, while we're doing things. It's a tool that we could use to learn. There are a lot of benefits of AI, and we love using it, but you have to be very careful to ask about things that you know something about. Because if you don't know anything about it, many times you can get answers that are not, I'd say, not necessarily the best for your situation. But you can go in, use the different tools today, and do processes or check your processes using these tools. So just going in and asking about what would you consider to be major risks in a project like what I'm using today or what I'm running today is a good starting point to get more information. I never considered it as a learning tool, but I guess it is. It's another element that we can use to learn more about different processes and about different things that we're doing. Maybe an expert, if you will, to help answer some of our questions.
Thanks, Daniel, and thank you for the question. We do have one more question in the chat, but we are actually at time, so we'll maybe pick that one up with you both offline and come back with an answer around the value proposition.
Sure, no problem.
The learning journey. But yeah, thank you again for a really interesting session. Couple of final things to wrap up with. One is for everyone who's on the session at the moment, Daniel and Hamatala will be joining a networking table in the networking area of the conference in a few minutes' time. So if you have got questions we haven't got to, or you want to have a little bit of a chat more about the game or anything along those lines, then do drop into the networking area there. If you haven't had a chance to drop into the sponsor booths as well, then please do. There's lots of interesting information in there, and obviously keep an eye on the schedule because we've still got lots of other sessions to go, both in the closeout of EMEA and then in the Americas sessions that are now getting going. But yeah, in summary, thank you. Really interesting session. Thank you everyone for joining. And yeah, look forward to seeing you all in probably about 15 minutes for the next session.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.